The name Lagina appears on the Mula, Milas Road, just after Yatahan, below a sign for Turgut. The road leads to the remains of the sacred area of Lagina, about 10 kilometers further on, and to the millennia-old tale of the mythological goddess Hecate. Lagina was the official center of worship for the Carian town of Stratonikeia, and, by all accounts, the site of the most important temple, the oldest and best-known place to worship Hecate. The name Lagina still lives on in the name of Lane, the locals' name for the nearby town, which itself has recently been renamed Turgut. Lagina's history as the region's most important religious center goes back as far as 3000 BC. But records for the sacred area date from the time Stratonikeia was founded, and Lagina became its temple area. Because the records refer to the Hecate temple, the ruins of which can still be seen, they must date from that era or later. The first research into Lagina was done in 1743 by Richard Pococka. Initial excavations began in 1891 under Osman Hamdi Bey, generally acknowledged as Turkey's first real curator and founder of Istanbul's Archaeological Museum and others in Turkey. These excavations were significant, being the first scientific excavations to be done in Turkey by Turkish archaeologists. After a long break, Professor Dr. Yusuf Boysal continued the research and excavation between 1967 and 1970. Most recently, the site has been under excavation by Professor Dr. Ahmet Turpin since 1993. The large numbers of objects unearthed during the excavations are now on display in the Istanbul Museum of Archaeology, Turgut Museum, and the museums of Milas and Muğla. The Hecate statue found at Lagina can be found in front of the town hall in Turgut. It is thought that the tradition of the Hecate cult is a remnant of the Anatolian matriarchal era. The Roman philosopher Lucius Apuleius, 125 to 180 AD, describes Hecate in his book Metamorphoses as a mother goddess.
I am she that is the natural mother of all things, mistress and governess of all the elements, the initial progeny of worlds, chief of powers divine, queen of heaven, the principle of the gods celestial, the light of the goddesses, at my will the planets of the air, the wholesome winds of the seas, and the silences of hell be deposed. My name, my divinity is adored throughout all the world in diverse manners, in variable customs, and in many names. For the Phrygians call me the mother of the gods, the Athenians, Minerva, the Cyprians, Venus, the Candians, Diana, the Sicilians, Proserpina, the Eleusinians, Ceres, some Juno, other Bellona, other Hecate, and principally the Ethiopians which dwell in the Orient, and the Egyptians which are excellent in all kind of ancient doctrine, and by their proper ceremonies, accustomed to worship me, do call me Queen Isis.
The first written source mentioning Hecate is Hesiod's Theogony. Hesiod was born in the 700s BC in Kym, not far from today's Aliya north of Izmir, and he moved with his family to the ancient Greek town of Askra. In Theogony, he tells of the birth of the Greek gods, their bloodlines and exploits, generation by generation. In the very beginning there was chaos, he says. Hesiod's Theogony is currently accepted as the main source of the genealogy of the mythological gods, for example in the Oxford University Press, Classical Mythology. Hesiod firstly tells us about Gaia, the earth. Gaia creates Uranus, the sky, as her equal, bound to surround her on all sides. Then she creates the high mountains and the sea. As a result of her union with Uranus, she gives birth to the male and female Titans.
Hecate comes from the sun line of the Titans. Koios and Phoebe have two daughters. One is Leto, mother of Apollo and Artemis, the other Asteria. Asteria gives birth to Hecate following her union with Perses. Again, Phoebe came to the desired embrace of Koios. Then the goddess, through the love of the god, conceived and brought Leto. Also she bore Asteria of happy name, whom Perses once led to his great house to be called his dear wife. And she conceived and bore Hecate. She is honored exceedingly by the deathless gods. For to this day, whenever any one of men on earth offers rich sacrifices and prays for favor according to custom, he calls upon Hecate. Great honor comes full easily to him whose prayers the goddess receives favorably, and she bestows wealth upon him. For the power surely is with her. For as many as were born of earth and ocean, amongst all these she has her due portion. Whom she wills she greatly aids and advances, and in the assembly whom she will is distinguished among the people.
Apart from the myth of Demeter, Persephone, and Hecate, she only appears along with the Amazons as Zeus's helper in the war between the gods and the Titans. The portrayal of Zeus's horses from Pergamon are among the most beautiful interpretations of the myth. Also, from a linguistic point of view, the name Hecate doesn't fit with the Greek language. It belongs to the Carian region. It is thought that the word might have been introduced to the Carian language by Carian legionaries who served in Egypt and encountered the Egyptian midwife goddess Hecate, protector of women in childbirth. The roots of Hecate can be traced further back, to the wise clan leader Hek, originating in the Egyptian matriarchal period. The word Hecate can mean one who imposes his/her will, but other meanings, including remote or most glorious, are also implied. The name of the Carian king and father of Mausolus, Hecatomnus, means man or servant of the Hecate temple. Beginning in the 8th BC, a Hecatesia Romaya festival was held in Lagina every 4 years, but a Hecatesia ceremony was performed every year. This was also known as the key-carrying festival, as the key to the temple was taken in a procession on foot to Stratonikeia and back again. This tradition stemmed from the belief that Hecate held the keys to the underworld. According to this belief, Hecate was the guardian of all the doors on earth, as well as that of the door to the land of the dead. In order to keep trouble and disaster away from houses, altars to Hecate were erected in front of the doors. Receiving the souls of the dead, Hecate was also the protector of cemeteries. The figures with horses, which are especially widespread on grave steles in Thrace, associate her with the symbol of the mare. Because of the dog Cerberus, who guards the gates of Hades, all dogs belong to Hecate. It was a widespread custom in Caria to sacrifice dogs to the goddess. When dogs started howling in the night, the people took this to mean that Hecate had begun to wander around, because only dogs were able to see her and the souls that she set free. Female dogs and wolves are also one of the symbols of Hecate.
Hecate is the daughter of the night and darkness. As a goddess of the moon, she has a complementary relationship with the sun. On the 30th of the month, when the sun catches up with the moon and they rise together, a flat cake with candles on it was offered to the goddess. Hecate and Apollo were gods of journeys, lighting the way for travelers, Apollo with the sun and Hecate with her torch in the night. Hecate was called scatterer of fire, radiator of light, torch carrier, fire breather, and the Black One. She was worshipped in caves and torches were lit in her honor. The crescent moon with a torch is also one of Hecate's symbols, showing the way to spirits and travelers. On nights when the moon was in the final quarter, offerings of cakes, fish, eggs, and cheese were made to the goddess at junctions of 3 roads. In early periods, she had one head and body, but was later depicted as having 3 bodies. This triple form showed that she possessed power in heaven, on earth, and in the land of the dead. The trio of birth, life, and death is also embodied in Hecate's triple form. The new moon was Artemis, the full moon was Selene, and the waning moon, Hecate. Hecate's triple body also symbolizes the stages of a woman's life: girlhood, motherhood, and being a grandmother. In the trio of Persephone, Demeter, and Hecate, Hecate helps Demeter, the goddess of fertility, to find her daughter Persephone, who has been kidnapped by the ruler of the underworld. In later periods and in Roman mythology, Hecate became less powerful and was associated with death, evil spirits, and spells. She was now a bad old woman, her witchcraft coming to the fore. She became known as the daughter of Zeus, who ruled the underworld. While human beings turned heaven, the land of plenty where they had once lived in freedom and equality, into an arena for dominance, possession, and war, Hecate, one of the beautiful and powerful goddesses mentioned in Apuleius' Metamorphoses, was transformed into a witch and an old woman in mythology. Male gods took the place of the mother god, and Hecate became feared, known as a sorcerer, believed to rule the forces of evil and darkness. Mentioned in Apuleius' Metamorphoses, was transformed into a witch and an old woman in mythology. Male gods took the place of the mother god, and Hecate became feared, known as a sorcerer, believed to rule the forces of evil and darkness.
Hear the words of the grandmother of time: Hecate, Ereshkigal, Caradwan, Kalima, Anna, Parena, Spider-Woman. A few of her names, sometimes feared, sometimes loved, but never ignored. Bringer of knowledge and awareness of eternity, she was a virgin and remembers that joy. She became a mother and recalls that pleasure, but it changed her, teaching the mysteries of the unceasing wheel, the wheel, life, death, and rebirth. She's a hurricane tracing circles, a spitting volcano, a great wave swelling higher, the tremor of the earth's crust. With age comes understanding of the past and a chance to glimpse the future. So, when the wheel turns, the past is ahead and the future has passed. She is the wise one, the teacher, the bringer of inevitable change, the darkness of the moon, the hidden one, the invisible unknown awaiting us, but have no fear, because she has no bad intention. Though her touch be strict, it is one of love. Only in ignorance is she held in contempt and thought ill of. Those who know her not make fun of her, as an old crone who spoils the crops and sours the milk in the cow's udder. The distaste felt for the signs of her age turns to fear, her wrinkles to a hideous formlessness, her voice to a sound of devilish, self-seeking irritation. Those who seek power on earth are afraid to confront her wisdom an unalterable truth. But we used to sit at her feet to learn the ancient customs. We learned the lore of healing plants and songs that shaped our lives. She sat with honor at our councils and in our marketplaces and homes. She governed our state, explained our laws, gave direction to our changing seasons. She was our teacher, our oracle, our promise of rebirth. Come, honor her as of old. Listen to the words of the wise one, the ancient seer, the old woman.
The silence and melancholy of Hecate that has lasted for thousands of years is today transformed into exultation by the Lagina festival, jointly organized by the Turnkey municipality, the Ministry of Culture and Konya University. It is almost as if the old Hecatesia festival, celebrated in great style by the Romans every year, is brought to life again. Today in the West, the goddess Hecate is associated with paganism and witchery and accepted as their symbol, and especially tour groups from Bodrum. Lovers of archaeology and people from local towns attend the celebrations, interest in the event growing each year. The festival begins with traditional drum and pipe playing.
Konular hakkında biraz bilgi vermek istemekteyim. Lagina hakkında da bir de kitap yayınladık. Küçük bir kitap ama bu çalışmaları detaylı olarak kısmen burada izleyebilirsin.
Pazar yerlerimizde, evlerimizde şerefle oturdu. Bizim devletimizi yönetti ve bizim yasa...
After everyone has left, late at night among the ruins of Lagina, the secret life of Hecate continues in all its mystery and darkness.
From Titan's line where sunlight turns to gold, Koios and Phoebe's story once was told. Their embrace gave Leto of shining grace, and Asteria wandered sky's wide place. Hers is found Asteria in moonlit glow. They forged a bond where mortal winds may blow. In sacred night the goddess gave her breath, and Hecate rose between life and death. Hecate, keeper of thresholds and flame, bringer of blessings in darkness and name. Through fire and shadow your power remains. Hecate, guide us through moonlight and plains. Guardian of crossroads, force from the night. Hear the devotion, feel sepia light. Rise from the darkness, answer our call. Hecate, mother, and a queen over all.
Mortals kneel with offerings at your feet. They honor